Thank you very much, Secretary Sihuko, our outgoing chairman and head of TESDA. Outgoing because he is running for Congress in his district. But I'm glad that you're here for one of your last acts as head of TESDA because Secretary Sihuko, when he was still a congressman, was the father of the concept of ladderized education. Chairperson Tita Helen Benitez, I'm always so happy to see such a elegant and venerable lady at the helm of PWU. CEO Freddy Reyes, new generation, past President Amelu, thank you very much for your ideas about the 12 years. I hope that we can, we'll ask my PA, Mona Valis of Education, to take up your solution with the Presidential Task Force on Education. I think we're going to have a luncheon meeting one of these days. Maybe we can have Amilu join us in that meeting. Our different CHED, Commissioner, Defensor, our different officials, our faculty and staff of PWU, our students of PWU, and guest students from other schools. I'm so glad to be here with all of you. And I'm so glad to be here again in PWU. Again, because I've come here very often. And every time I come here, I feel very, very happy. I feel happy because I remember my mother. PWU is my mother's high school alma mater. And the friend she met in high school, it was PWC at that time, her seatmates to the left and to the right, for 4 years, became her lifelong best friends. And then when I was a teenager, she sent me to study folk dancing here under the great Mami Urtula of the Great Bayanihan. So I'm happy to be here with you, with the young CEO of PWU, with the young students of PWU, and the young scholars from the other schools. Because you, the young of our nation, are the bridge between the past and the future. It is for you that we right the wrongs, fight for change, and seek to make a better day. Our nation has come far, but it still has far to go. So we will continue hands-on governance until the day I leave office, just like Boboy Sihuko, working until the judicial notice from the Supreme Court comes here. To that end, we will promote the key initiatives our government has advanced since we took office. We will focus on 3 areas. 1, bringing more power and growth to each region and decongesting Manila. 2, continuing to promote the importance of the 3 E's, education, economy, and environment, to our efforts to create sustainable and equitable development. 3, a focus on you, the youth of our nation, as the best hope for a brighter, better Philippines. We have made progress in many areas. When we took office in 2001, our plan to promote growth and equity centered around 4 components that I pointed out in my first State of the Nation address. First, an economic philosophy of private enterprise appropriate to the 21st century. For example, private enterprise in education. We don't want state universities and colleges to kill private universities. We don't want public high schools to kill private high schools. That is why we invested very heavily in scholarships, because we know that state universities and colleges are very highly subsidized. Um, Private universities and colleges have a lower cost per student, meaning more efficient than state universities and colleges. But since you had no subsidies, you have to charge a higher price because the state universities and colleges charge a much lower price because the tuition is not the one paying for their operations, it's the government allocation. So to equalize that, we have spent a lot on scholarships, and I hope that many of the students in PWU are either CHED or TESDA scholars, part of our promoting private enterprise. Because under this philosophy, the way to fight poverty is to create jobs. And to create jobs, we attract investments. And to attract investments, we have to attend to macro measures and concerns. For instance, to be able to fund all these scholarships, government revenues have to be raised, and government expenditures have to move from profligate to prudent without compromising such priorities as education, also health, agricultural modernization, and our technological progress. Our investments in the sectors that have the potential to make significant contributions to our nation's drive for job creation and investment attraction have strengthened our ICT sector. So I'm glad that you're offering IT courses and call center ladderized courses here. And these efforts have modernized our tourism and agricultural sectors. So I am glad that your ladderized education began with HRM. Our BPO sector was employing 4,000 people when we took office in 2001. Today, that number has increased to more than 400,000 and counting. So I'm sure that our graduating students from your call centers or IT from PWU will have jobs waiting for you in the BPO sector. The second component of our development plan announced in 2001 was a modernized agricultural sector founded on social equity. And I am glad that we have created almost 2 million new jobs in agriculture during our administration. To achieve this, we invested no less than 20 billion pesos a year in agriculture and fisheries modernization, including promoting organic fertilizer, irrigating over 1 million hectares, agricultural education, land bank loans to farmers and fishermen of over 160 billion pesos, dryers and other post-harvest facilities, including more than 10,000 kilometers of farm-to-market roads, and seed support that have increased average yield per hectare. We distributed millions of hectares to almost 1 million indigenous people and more than 1 million agrarian reform beneficiaries. A third component of our plan is a social bias toward the disadvantaged to balance our economic development plan. We expanded healthcare, adding 50 million beneficiaries to PhilHealthcare, upgrading primary health centers and clinics into secondary and tertiary hospitals, and selling medicines commonly used by the poor at half price even before the Cheaper Medicine Act was passed. We built 100,000 classrooms